If a parent comes to you and says, my child is thinking about starting a business, what if he fails and we get into problem? What would you say to that parent?
I agree the fact that academics are always important, but at the same time,
So if a first year student comes to you stating, I have a startup idea, what are the first three questions you would ask?
it is not only the first year student. Any student comes with a startup idea. The three questions which I would ask them is, what is the problem?
So when a student wants to make a 2-minute pitch deck, what should they include and what should they avoid?
Pitching. It should be like you're telling a story to a director.
So is AI helping entrepreneurs to grow or it is pushing back entrepreneurs to grow?
Definitely, yes, it is helping. But then you should know the right way of using it. So, yes, for getting data, collection of, doing research, collection of data, you can use it. If you have to copy something which is already in AI, that is not the right thing.
Do you think Indian education system is prepared for making students into entrepreneurs or what is it lacking?
Yes, Indian education system is definitely prepared, but if you ask me what is lacking,
Welcome, and this is the first and the special episode for Beyond Bishoyi because my journey started in EDCell, I would say, in Bhavan's college in EDCell, the entrepreneur journey. When I spoke with Sir, we spoke and we started ED exposure, Sir's idea, and I worked hard. We started ED exposure and went to different schools, colleges. After graduating, also, Sir pushed me a lot, and I came back as a guest lecturer as a resource provider for photography workshops. I conducted 3 workshops till now, hoping for more. And this one is a special episode because I'm coming back again to the college, starting with EDCell with Thirmal Rao sir to make my first episode. I would say entrepreneur cells, ED cells in colleges should be that way. Not just when you are in college, it should even support when you leave colleges. Welcome to Beyond Bishoyi. This is Sunil Bishoyi. This is a place where curiosity meets perspective. Dr. M. Thirmal Rao is an assistant professor in commerce at Bhavan's Vivekananda College, Hyderabad. He has been teaching since 2007 and he has completed his PhD in commerce from Osmania University in 2025. But his bigger story started in 2017 when he launched the ED cell in its college. Since then, he mentored student startups, led national level business competitions like Entrepreneurship and earned national recognitions, including Indian Excellency Award for Entrepreneurship Education. He is here to talk about why he started ED Cell, what it takes to turn a student idea into a real business, and how we are going to make this podcast one of the most impactful entrepreneur conversations of India. Dr. Rao, welcome to our podcast.
thank you so much, Sunil.
Yeah. Now we will go ahead and with few of the interesting questions where we'll get to know your journey, how it started, and how you're maintaining the club and the with teaching together. So now the first question is, before the titles and the awards, who is Dr. Thirmal Rao?
Well, if we talk about my schooling, I was just an average and above average student, as many of them say. But then we had to face some financial difficulties once I reached my 11th and 12th class. Then that is the time when I realized how important education is for one's career launch. Then once I reached my degree, graduation, I think that should be my turning point. I showed a lot of interest towards accounting, which has drawn my attention. So I was very passionate doing accounts. So that is where my entire life turned, and I started scoring above 80s, 90s, 100s also in some subjects. So then after that, I never thought I will be coming into teaching profession. So unknowingly, what happened was one of my niece, while I was in my post-graduation, she asked me to clear some doubts of hers while she was in graduation. So I just cleared her doubts. Then somehow what happened was, then she told, the way I explained, she really understood very well. And then she told, I would like to come to you as a full-time coaching along with my friends. Then since I was free at that time, then I also told okay. Then she came along with her friends. I was just teaching like this in a table to them, and even there, her friends also liked the way I taught accounts. Then it went on scaling up like that. So two people became five people became 10, and that is how I my the space in my house was not sufficient at one point of time. Then I had to hire a school uh, to take classes early in the morning and after the school in the evening. So I used to run batches of commerce students teaching accounts. So that is how I unknowingly entered into this profession. Then in 2001 I got married. Then somehow I thought I should look for a full-time a job. Then I applied for a college faculty role in one college, and there I was selected, and that is how I came into this profession.
That's amazing journey to hear from you, sir. So, what moment in your early teaching career made you realize I must do just more than what I'm teaching?
In fact, the first 5 to 6 years, I just was very passionate about teaching itself,
Okay.
and just to carve a niche as a very good teacher, I was going ahead with teaching itself. Then, one point of time, when I was nominated for this role of coordinator of ED Cell, then somehow I strongly believe the vision of our college, youth empowerment with culture, knowledge, strength of body and mind, which clearly states that a student joins Bhavan's college not just for academics. So we are here just not just to give you knowledge. So we want you to a student to develop on an overall basis, on a holistic basis. So when a student joins here, he is not just expecting to go out of this college with a graduation certificate. He should develop a skill set is what I felt. So that is how then I started. Whenever I teach classes, I make them speak on their own. I keep asking questions, and once I was nominated for this cell coordinator, then I've been doing various activities which will develop the skill set of students.
Amazing. So, what's one personal sacrifice you made to build ED Cell this successful in the college?
I can't call. Of course, there is no such sacrifice which I could have made, but then time. I'm not able to find time because I'm becoming very busy looking after this ED cell activities and also teaching. So I can't call it as a sacrifice, but I'm not finding much of time.
So, with this, are you able to give time to your family members properly? Is what I'm.
Very less maybe, because at most of the times I go home and also do some work. So probably very less, and I try to give some time maybe in the weekends. I keep myself very free.
So, walk through us the exact moment or story which pushed you to start this ED Cell in college in 2017.
It is not that I started the ED cell. The college initiated in the year 2017 after the government of India launched the Startup India scheme in the year 2016. We didn't take much time. Within a year itself, the college initiated the ED cell and they nominated me as the coordinator of this cell.
So, do you think government was like this was the first? I feel this was the first college in Hyderabad which pushed to start ED Cell.
I'm not very sure about it, but I think there were few technical colleges who would have already started e-cells and incubators.
Okay.
I'm not very sure about it.
Okay, sir. So now, what was your thought? What was your thought when you became the coordinator of ED Cell in 2017?
Yeah, this is something very interesting actually I should share. As you know, probably 10 years ago, there was not much hype about startups, innovation and so and so. But then I was given this coordinatorship of the ED cell. I was clueless as to what has to be done in this. See, if you have been given a task, I know how to complete it. But you are the coordinator of ED cell. Even I have never taught ED before that. I used to teach all accounting papers. So I was clueless as to what has to be done. I was doing a lot of research. Then somehow I was I was searching in Google what has to be done for ESL to my students who join into the cell. Then somehow I got to know that the National Institute of Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development
Mm-hmm.
under Government of India, they are an autonomous body who conduct one training program called as EDP. We have here Entrepreneur Development Program. It was a 15 days program which happens through a CD based learning. They
Okay.
send us CDs and the students have to learn the content of that. You have all practical insights and you get to know more awareness about entrepreneurship in that CD. And after that 15 and that 15 days consists of one full day classroom training as well.
Okay.
So they send the niece bud, which whom I'm talking about. They send one trainer for one full day, and these students will get trained about what is entrepreneurship and what are how to generate ideas and so on and so forth. And after the training program is over, they conduct a test online.
Wow.
So once they qualify the test, they get a certificate that they have completed the EDP. And that certificate is very valid in case they want to get some funding from banks and government schemes. So
Okay.
this was the first program which I was able to do for my students, which was very successful.
Amazing, sir. So, do you think since then only government, like back in 2016, startups and all was just small thing in India? It was not that much hyped or anything. Right now, I feel startups are hyped. Every other student, when you talk to them, they say that I want to start a startup. They don't know what to do, but in their mind, they do. They want to start a startup. Do you think government is pushing students to do this?
Definitely, yes. Look, even during difficult times like the COVID
Mm-hmm.
19,
Yeah.
we have seen government of India keeping 20,000 crores aside for MSMEs.
Wow.
And you can see a lot of schemes as well. There is Mudra scheme, there is MSME Udyam scheme, so
Yeah.
many schemes for the young students to go ahead and take help from the government. So the only thing is the students have to take a step forward and take the benefit of these schemes.
So this segment I would focus on completely on students and parents, focusing on them. So if a first year student comes to you stating I have a startup idea, what are the first three questions you would ask?
It is not only the first year student. Any student comes with a startup idea. The three questions which I would ask them is, what is the problem statement? Did you make a research on that? What is the solution you're giving?
Okay. So could you elaborate on these questions? Why we?
Most of the startups fail because they imitate.
Yes.
So students do not know about that. They get fascinated about someone's business which is a success, and they try to imitate or copy that. But this is why most of the startups fail. You first have to identify a problem which is prevailing in the society. Then do some research about that problem and give a solution for it. There is no reason why will your startup fail. So most of the entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, if you see Sama Fanindra, he has identified the problem that he was unable to come to Hyderabad because of the buses not available. So he has given a solution. He created Red Bus app.
Yes.
So same way, Deepinder Goyal created Zomato because nowadays nuclear families sometimes they may be tired, they can't cook, so they wanted food at their doorstep. So same with Bhavish Agarwal, who has identified that a middle class family may not own a car.
Yeah.
So,
To rent a
but
car.
then sometimes they may have to attend some wedding or some function in which they wanted to go in a car. So they are ready to spend some 500 600 rupees for that. So again he created an app. So they all have identified a problem and gave it a solution. Now you can see what a big success they are.
Amazing, sir. That's very true. So let's take a realistic example, sir. Nowadays, if a parent comes to you and says, "My child is thinking about starting a business. We don't have money at all. and he's planning to start a business, he's planning to take a business loan. What if he fails and we get into problem? What would you say to that parent?
Yeah, so I agree the fact that academics are always important. So from a parent's perspective, they would be thinking that their child should study and fetch a job. But at the same time, look, now the parents' thinking also is transforming a lot. So the parents are giving importance to what child prefers. So if a child is more into sports, so the parents are leaving them to play sports, and if they can just get a graduation or a post graduation, it is fine. So the same thing applies for entrepreneurship as well. So let them take a graduation or a post graduation, then let them focus more on entrepreneurship. We never know. They may become future Elon Musk or a Fanindra Samar, Dipender Goyal, or Bhavish Agarwal, who will provide jobs rather than seeking jobs.
Amazing, sir. So many students come up with pitch decks when they want to make 2 minute pitch decks to whenever you go to like venture capitalist or angel investor, they will ask us to come up with a pitch deck. Mostly they ask us for 2 minutes. So when a student wants to make a 2 minute pitch deck, what should they include and what should they avoid?
See, the message should be very clear. First of all, as I told you earlier, it should cover what is the problem statement and what is the research they have done on that and what solution they are giving to it. And Sunil, what I believe is when you are pitching, it should be like you're telling a story to a director,
Amazing.
and it should be so very interesting. And avoid technical jargons, reading from the PowerPoint. It should come out of your heart. Is what I feel.
And so mostly avoiding with the what should they should avoid is it should be technical jargons and not saying the PPT is the
Yes,
most important
yes.
factor. Okay. That shows that they are not ready with the research or not
It
confident
should
enough
come
to.
out from within.
When is the right time for a student to register as a company versus running informal?
This is I mean, I see so many students coming and telling, I want to register as a proprietorship, or I want to register as an LLP. See, please don't rush through. First, settle down. Once you talk to 10 people about your idea and take their feedback. And my strong suggestion to every student is you can register under the MSME Udyam scheme, where you can start doing the trade, and virtually you can trade there, and you can also apply for government schemes from there. So once your enterprise is settled, then you can think about registering it.
As a company. So continuing this thing, let's take an example. For a student, they are nowadays students are very curious due to internet. They are very curious, I would say, and sometimes they get influenced a lot. Lot of influence happens in through social media is what as a youth I know, and I guess as you teach students you would be seeing everyone are influenced nowadays because of social media. So they come up with one day they say that they see that this person is becoming successful, let me copy. And what mistake they do is they go buy websites and everything. Later point they understand that the business is already there. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, there are two things which you have to see in what you ask now. See, from the internet, you can get lot of information. So the awareness levels of the students nowadays is very high. So they now, after AI also, they have got lot of information uh, at their laptop. But then, as you told, again, copying someone who's been successful is not a right choice. So they have to come up with their own ideas from the problems they have observed.
So as you spoke about AI, I would ask few small questions. Is let's take a one word like one sentence answers for this. So is AI helping entrepreneurs to grow or it is pushing back entrepreneurs to grow?
Definitely, yes, it is helping, but then you should know the right way of using it. So, yes, for getting data, collection of doing research, collection of data, you can use it. But then, if you have to copy something which is already in AI, that is not the right thing.
Amazing, sir. So, do you think AI will take over entrepreneurship?
Definitely not.
So, you became coordinator for ED back in 2017. Since then, what are the startups started under this cell, and what are the startups you mentored?
There are quite a few startups which have registered under our mentorship. See, the first of its kind you can see here, Whoosh,
Okay.
is an idea wherein students who are good at some skills go to schools, because nowadays the problem which they have identified was a student from school will come out with 9.8, 10 CGPA, but when we ask them to write a letter, or when we ask them to speak, they are unable to speak. So that is the problem which the students of Whoosh have identified. So they will reach out to schools and they will conduct workshops over there, staying there for 2 to 3 days by charging a very nominal amount, and they teach them communication skills, personality building, and quizzing skills. So these all are taught to the writing skills, all these. So that is Whoosh all about. And we see Kagit manufacturing also. It is a startup idea wherein the student has identified the biodiversity problem, and they have come up with a eco-friendly paper bag. So
Okay.
they are also doing good now. And Sahara is a very low cost sanitary napkins idea, which we have supported with the expertise of biochemistry department. And we have capital investors who is into kind of a real estate with giving them returns without owning a land also. So
Okay.
that is the capital investors idea. So these are the some startups which have registered under our mentorship.
Wow, sir, that's amazing to hear. So, which EDCell activity gave the biggest impact? Now, in under EDCell, there are many activities like we have ED, like
EFPs,
business
EDPs,
plan,
incubator
incubate
visits,
visits.
business plan.
So, out of all of this, which is the best, which is giving the impact to students? Is
Uh, of course, every program has its own importance. See, we conduct Entrecon for the first year students in a very funny way. We'll ask them to come up dressed in their favorite entrepreneur's attire.
okay.
So that is the scratch. The first thing which they do is they go onto the internet and search for some entrepreneur whom they want to dress like, and they would talk about them for 2 minutes. So that is how we are letting them know about entrepreneurs.
Wow.
And we have movie day which has been started recently. We have incubator visits, we have business plan competitions, CFPs, have EDPs, very formal kind of programs. But then every program has its own importance. But if you ask me, I think the business plan competitions has taken us nationally and internationally as well. So I
Wow.
should tell you all, the last two editions of Entrepreneur has gone internationally also. We have got registrations where the students have pitched their business plans from countries like Canada, US, Australia, and so and so. So we got 6 registrations for Entrepreneur last time from international. So definitely I could say business plan is one program which has brought this to us.
So, how do you involve industry experts with EDCell? Will it be a normal lecture thing, or will it be you are making something interesting out of it?
Sunil, I should tell you, um see, creating that ecosystem of entrepreneurship and bringing that entrepreneurial skill set among the students is very difficult, because most of the students are ready to take up a job and go away. So bringing that interest among the students is very important. So if it is a monotonous lecture kind of a program, then students also will not show the interest. Now, in your earlier question, when I was telling about the Fanindra Samas, the Deependra Goyals. So when the speakers keep it very interesting talking about all this, it is then the students will get that curiosity and interest. They will see themselves in those entrepreneurs and founders. So yeah, the lecture model may not suit and get the interest of the students. So it should be definitely case study based, telling the practical insights and giving live examples of successful entrepreneurs is what we do.
Amazing, sir. So, continuing on this question, when we spoke about modern teaching or the normal lecture, do you think Indian education system is prepared for making students into entrepreneurs, or what is it lacking?
Yes, Indian education system is definitely prepared, but if you ask me what is lacking, there should be a linkage between the student community with what government does and other workshops.
Yes.
So that connect should be there.
Awareness.
Awareness is also there, but that connect there's somehow
Gap.
I feel that there is a gap. Okay, students have that conception that they may not be able to do that because of various reasons. So some confidence should be given to the students, and at the same time, academia student engagement should also happen through various workshops and some seminars. So this should fill that gap.
Amazing. Okay. So, how do you measure, like, how do you measure the success? Is it by number of events or number of startups registered under the cell, or what more you would say?
Both. So I will tell you something. See, when we have some inspections from NAC or some other government agencies, so when we keep explaining about what all we do here, we do all these programs. Okay, so the immediate question they ask is what's the outcome.
Okay.
So then I go towards that side and talk about the startups registered and what are the mentorship startups under our mentorship. So there is some idea called as mood meals and scriptly. Probably I may not be able to share much details about that, but they are very interesting. So what I'm trying to tell you is, see, because of these activities itself, the students got that curiosity, got the confidence, and then they put the step forward and have done they have taken up the startups. So it is both.
Okay. Now, while students, this is something very very interesting question. I would say, as we have a ED cell, is there a way students are earning money through?
Yes, um, we have some ED activity every year in which students make sales of some eco-friendly bags,
Mhm.
tote bags, or they also bring awareness among the students not to use plastic water bottles.
Okay.
So they sell stainless steel water bottles,
Mhm.
and during Diwali they buy diyas from outside, make some value addition to it by painting it. They sit in the VB, the Vivek Bharati, and they do the painting, and they say make the sales of Diya. And see, this is the kind of entrepreneurial activities which the students are doing within the college itself. There's a big market in the college, so they do all this, and they learn how to manage finances, how to purchase goods from the market, how the prices are fixed, what is the cost price, how much should be the selling price, and how to reach out to the customers. So during Diya sale, they went to all the teachers and made pre-bookings of the Diyas which they want.
Okay.
So see, there's different departments which I'm talking about here,
Yes.
which we usually do in a company.
Yeah, logistics, supply
Everything
chain,
is being
everything
done.
is included.
So this is what they're learning in the college itself. So these are the entrepreneurial activities which students do in the college.
Amazing, sir. So,
One more example I can tell about is ED Exposure, the photography club. This actually I can tell you it's my brainchild. Why? Because um, One day there was a big event happening in the college. I don't know if it was Bhavanotsav or farewell party. I saw so many students carrying high-end cameras and taking pictures. While going home, somehow this idea triggered in my mind. When there are so many students in the college with high-end cameras, why should we not use this potential of the students in a entrepreneurial way? Then the idea came in my mind that these students will reach out to schools and colleges and provide their services in form of their group photos for the schools and colleges, and also if they are doing some events they will do the videography. So that is how we started photography club ed exposure with 6 students who had some high-end cameras with them with good photography skills. And I should tell you all, the traditional photographers also don't do the editing work, they get it outsourced, but our students do it on their own. So
In-house
in the first year itself, I'm telling you, we got a huge order from many schools and colleges for doing their group photographs. So the students have gone there, made the students sit in right order, have taken pictures and got them printed, and doing after doing the editing work and all, they got it printed and given to the schools at a very low cost. So this is one more very interesting entrepreneurial activity which is still happening every year, and students are earning while they are learning.
So, adding on ED exposure, so this is a startup idea sir, completely. Now, when we see flash shoot, it runs on almost a similar manner. When they if someone has a good camera or good skills, they would just check in the app. This is the event, and they go and shoot it. This is a similar way which is happening
Yes.
is in the college.
Yes.
We spoke about startups, the finance, and all. Now, when it let's come to the finance segment. What is one's financial metric if they ignore will let us know the startup is healthy or is in trouble?
This is something very interesting because since I'm into accounting and ED, this is a very interesting question to me. Definitely, the cash flows is a very important financial metric for any uh, enterprise, because many startups could be having sales, and on paper they can be having net profits, but they end up not having cash flow. So cash flow is a very important financial metric for every startup.
So when we spoke about cash flow,
It is because they have to run the working capital of the
yes,
startup.
yes.
So working capital is all about the day-to-day activities of the startup. So definitely cash flow is an important financial metric.
So when we are speaking about finance, when a young person at the age of 21, 22 sees a lot of money coming in, they start living a luxurious life rather than focusing on the startup anymore. Do you agree with me? And what should they do to this?
This is where students should see some movies on successful entrepreneurs and learn that, see, once you start seeing some cash or cash inflows, then you should not get fascinated about that. So you scale up your business or expand your activities, do something, but ensure you don't waste money and get carried away with that.
We spoke about finance, we spoke about how finance matters to them. Now, when it comes to taxation, so now GST is there, many things are there in picture. Should every founder should know basics of taxation and what happens if they ignore it?
Well, they don't have to be expert in tax, but then they should know the basics of taxation. Uh, they should know the basics of GST, what percentage is attracted to their product, and what are the threshold limits, what are the GST compliances with respect to income tax. They should know the date of filing returns, because otherwise they may end up paying fines. Uh, the basic compliance is what they require,
Okay.
and some knowledge of how to reduce tax also is important, especially in the initial stages of startup.
Okay. So, what is a simple accounting habit or a knowledge a startup should know to save them in future from going down?
Again, I will tell the same answer. Cash flows is very important. So As far as accounting is concerned, as I told, there may be many startups for whom the sales may look good, net profits may look good, but ultimately they will not have good amount of cash inflows. So cash flows is always a good indicator of the success of a startup.
Got it. So, do you now talking about this? Do you think hiring people from IIM, ISP into a startup will make the startup big, or the entrepreneur himself should be focused on getting people from anywhere and making them learn and make it successful?
I agree the fact that IIM IITs will carry a good amount of skill sets, but that potential should be there in your startup. So the IITians or IIMs will not make wonders out of your startup. If only the startup has that potential, they also can do anything. So ultimately, it is the startup which has to have the potential of bringing revenue, is what I feel.
Got it. So, as we are from Hyderabad and we are in a college which is in Hyderabad, do you think Hyderabad is becoming next startup capital of India? And what is it stimulating or
Definitely, yes. Hyderabad is uh, the most evolving and promising startup ecosystem in the country.
Mhm.
So you have T Hub, one of Asia's one of the biggest incubator, and we have V Hub for the women's, and there are many private universities incubators also. And I should tell you, I am also part of. There is something a group called as uh, Telangana State Incubators and Accelerators. So I keep getting information in that something or the other is happening on a daily basis in Hyderabad. So there is one roundtable conference which happens every month. Every incubator or accelerator hosts that, and I see on a daily basis some symposium or a conference or a seminar or a pitching competition. Something or the other happens because I keep getting messages in that group.
okay?
So Hyderabad startup system ecosystem is very much happening, and I'm pretty sure, and I have no doubt that it will lead the nation's startup ecosystem and be the startup capital of the country.
So it is as you're saying, this is the next Silicon Valley of India.
Probably.
Though we are going to beat Bangalore in
Only
terms
thing
of
is, only thing is, uh, the industry and student uh,
connection.
association connect has to happen.
Okay. Now we spoke about entrepreneurship in Hyderabad and all. What are the government schemes which are genuinely helping startups in India?
There is first of all the Mudra scheme. There is this PMEGP. There is something called as you can see the credit guarantee scheme for micro and small enterprises.
Mhm.
The CDP scheme, the Spurti scheme of fund for regeneration of traditional industries. So there are quite a few goods, and the MSME Udyam scheme is also there.
Yes.
Atal Innovation Scheme. So there are wonderful schemes there with the government, but the problem is the students are not having awareness of this. There are a lot of funds there with the government, but the student doesn't know how to take that. So this is where the e-cells, the incubators, the accelerators should play a role in building the confidence of students and availing the schemes and how the government is helping the students. See, back then in 15, 20 years ago, this much support was not there. There were no incubators, no accelerators. Governments did not have this many schemes. But now the young generation has a lot of a very good platform where they can just take an idea forward.
Got it. Amazing, sir. So, as many students are getting into different sectors, what do you think a sector is overhyped, and which sector then can students get into easily?
Nowadays, students' focus is only on building apps, and especially after AI, though they are more concentrating on that area itself. But there are many other sectors and which has some problem statements. You can take about agriculture, you can think about pharmaceutical, you can think of education sector, you can think about the biodiversity. So these areas also need to be looked into. So the students should know what are the problems which are there in those sectors, and come up with some good solutions. See, the State Road Transport Corporation wants some idea about digitalization of their ticketing system. So there are many problem statements which can be solved by the students.
What skills matter more than just marks for a student who wants to build a startup?
Well, I agree that marks are valuable, but then the skills like solving, adaptability, critical thinking, networking will matter a lot for a student for a startup.
Okay. So coming on this thing only, how can a student discover that they are made for startups or they have to go into traditional job?
My suggestion is don't think too early about that. See, you can experiment. You can start. You can uh, take part in some business plan competitions and see how the networking is happening. How is your idea being understood by others, and then you decide whether you are for a predefined role or you want to take up your startup forward.
Got it. So, continuing on this, one interesting fact I would tell about me is, uh, would you wear completely Indian brands, sir? A to Z, what you're wearing is an Indian brand.
That was a question I wanted to ask you once I saw you today. So, what is your idea on wearing this Indian brands?
So now let's take. There are many Indian brands as of in India which is evolving, are really good in terms of textile and all. Now Snitch is doing really great. Snitch started in few years ago. Now it is one of the top brands in India, which is getting into different like kurta. This is a short kurta from Snitch. They make formals, they make everything. So whatever we can wear in a day-to-day life are available through Indian brands, I would say. Let's take formals. You can buy formals from Snitch, or you can buy formals from uh, something related to Bamboo Story. And you have the Bear Company, and we have Soul Store, we have Vastrado. There are many brands sir, in India which are popping up right now. And when it comes to shoes, also there are many brands for shoes. I personally use Comet and Gully Labs. So I'm particularly Gully Labs makes the shoes I am wearing are made up of jute, one of the renewable which can be used. That's why when we are telling that we want to make India great, I feel we should start supporting from here.
Yes. So even I have a couple of Snitch shirts. So I'm also a customer for them. And as you told, yes, India should seriously the youth of the country should think about this and take it forward.
Yeah, like when we see for brands uh, like there are many brands, Levi's and all. They are also started from the same thing in their own country with a very small scale. They grow it because the people over there started supporting. I feel that we are the one who should support our brands so that it grows internationally.
So,
What makes you most optimistic about youth in India right now?
well, the amount of youth potential in our country is enormous. So I strongly believe that India as a nation has good potential to dominate the world's economy. So my humble request and suggestion to all the students and youth. See, we have been importing many products from other countries. So think of we making the products in our country, as we were talking about the clothing brands. So there are many products which we are importing from other countries. So if we can make those products, and then definitely there is no reason why India will not dominate the world's economy.
5 years from now, what do you want to hear about students who went from your EDCEL?
Maybe one unicorn.
Is it one unicorn or you're expecting many
Being
unicorns?
more ambitious, at least one unicorn in the next 5 years could make us very happy.
So there are many students from our ED are working in very great places. They personally, whom I know, are also working in very big places. Uh, Dallas venture capitalists. They're working in Deloitte, EY, in very big positions. I have recently went through many of the like for searching hosts. I spoke with many people, and I found out that there are more than 100 startups within India started by Bhavan students. I was astonished to know that.
Oh, great to hear.
So I was shocked to know that. Now, so what is one advice you would like to give to everyone who is hearing this podcast?
Well, my advice to all the people hearing this podcast is, see, first of all, you should be very passionate, and you should be ready to take up and accept things and have the perseverance. See, no matter whether you are taking up entrepreneurship as your career or even if you are looking for a job, you have to develop that skill set being a student in the college. So I see so many students who are working in the cell as an organizing committee. They develop lot of skill set. Look, of late, see, the inception of EDCell happened in the year 2017. So it's almost 9 years now. So the first 4 or 5 years, I used to talk about events and I used to do more about the events. But now what I'm observing is I will take a call on the event and get the approvals. Rest is all taken care by the students. So you can understand the amount of skill set which they are developing. This will carry forward for them even for their job as well as entrepreneurship also. So what I finally want to tell is have that passion, have perseverance, and do the hard work.
Yes. What's ED in one word?
My heart.
Biggest myth students believe while starting a startup.
Failure.
What does entrepreneurship does mean to you?
Passion.
Complete passion. If you had to describe an entrepreneur in
Leader.
one book which you would suggest to every student who wants to start a
Entrepreneur. 5 p.m. to 9 a.m.
one song that would be theme music for your class.
For class or AD?
For class.
I always get inspired by one song from Rangila. यारो सुन लो अपना ये कहना जीना है तो अपन के जैसे ही जीना. So when it's my class, so it's up to me what I teach there, of course, and the same should be for PD as well. So they should be very confident of what they're doing.
If you had to describe your entire student life in 3 words,
Passion, hard work, perseverance.
if you weren't in academics, where would we see you? A startup unicorn or venture capitalist? Where would we see you?
As I told you, I was running coaching classes. Probably you would have seen me maybe into educational sector running something.
One movie you would suggest to every student who want to learn something about entrepreneurship?
Swayam Krushi.
Is it a Telugu movie? Or?
Yes.
So, if you are a
Which the movie hero Chiranjeevi is actually a shoemaker who then he goes up and starts a big venture, and he will be the owner of a big shoemaking company. So it's from there, that level where he's running a small dabba on a roadside. From there he went to own a big business.
if you are a movie character, so
So once again, it would have been a role of Swayam Krushi, or I always am passionate about doing a role of a police in some movie, and maybe I told my students also if we can do on a social cause one small reel kind of thing in which I will play a police role.
Amazing. So, did you like continuing this question? Did you ever wish you wanted to become a police in your childhood days? Not really. But as usual, like you see some very powerful police officer roles on a movie. Yeah, I sometimes feel why am I not there? But then not really. Okay. So was what is one campus resource students are not utilizing it? The market in the college. There is a market of 4,000 students in the college, but the students are not able to tap it properly. If this conversation gave you an idea you can act upon this week, then do two things. Please share this episode to one friend, one parent, or one teacher whom you think should listen to this. And please follow Beyond Bishoyi on Instagram, YouTube, and please share it with friends. Thank you. And thank you so much, Silvula sir, for being in this podcast. Thank you, Sunil, for giving me this opportunity. And thank you so much.